So, Mike, tell me a little bit about what we're going to see first here at the World Golf Hall of Fame Museum.
So when you come up here, you're greeted by,
here you go,
welcome to the Hall of Fame. All
Wow.
the cheering fans from a US Open right here, and you get to see some of the great figures, the 170 Hall of Famer members that are in their careers.
Between that and then obviously the famous Hogan shot at Marion, it just like hits you right away that you're immersed in greatness. What is this room right here?
This is the member locker room, and right away you see the World Golf Hall of Fame trophy. So anyone who's in here has received one of these, and you can go and look at some of the great names. So that's the first thing you see when you come in, and then you get to go in and see, Dave, the trophy case right over here is truly extraordinary. There are 12 trophies in here. We have the men's majors, we have the women's majors, you have the team events, you have the cup events like the FedEx Cup. Basically anyone who's in there, they have likely won one or several of these to earn their spot in the Hall of Fame. So when people get inducted, we reach out to them and say, or their families, and say, hey, congratulations, we're thrilled to have you in the Hall of Fame. It's usually one of the best calls that we can make. And
Absolutely, I'm sure they love receiving it.
I was going to say, probably one of the best calls to receive. And then as you get in here, you can see, especially with Patty, we asked him to send us some important things from his career. We have bag, clubs, shoes from some of his major championship victories. And we asked for some other things, some more personal items.
Right.
For him, it's a head cover, Ladybug head cover that he loves. Sandra Palmer is a really interesting one. So that's her medal for winning the 1975 U.S. Women's Open. So important to her, she made it into a necklace and wears it around sometimes for special occasions. But maybe some of the most interesting artifacts are those that are a little more personal.
Right.
We've got teddy bears, we've got musical instruments, we have Bibles, baseball gloves, things like Hollis Stacy has her grandmother's chutney recipe. A Sawayoka used to carry around nail clippers all around.
Wow.
We have a Purple Heart from Lloyd Mangrum. Everything's organized by era. So we start, go back to the 1800s with Old Tom Morris, and this is a pretty good place to start. Great golf boom. Each one is organized into themes. So if we go in here with the Great Golf Boom, we can meet some of the members. I mentioned Old Tom. So we get to know a little bit more about him with his biography, get a quote from him as well. And then you go up to his achievements with these neat little icons, what he really did as a golfer.
Yeah.
4-time winner of the Open Championship, golf course designer. Go into a media gallery, which in this case you see photos of Old Tom. If you go to some of the newer members, Tiger Woods, you could see something like the chip in the 2005 Masters, the putt from the 2008 US Open. And then you go to Find My Locker and you can know exactly where Old Tom is, which
He's
is
right over here.
3 in
and there he
on
is.
the left side.
Yeah.
And as we go around, the eras kind of continue into the 19-teens and 20s and 30s with the golden age. We mentioned Bob Jones. Get over here into the 20s, 30s, and 40s, some great champions. And I mentioned the contributors, someone like Clifford Roberts, who wasn't known for playing the game, but certainly the founding of Augusta National, one of the most significant.
A giant in the game, absolutely. And A.W. Tillinghast, I can see, and Donald Ross are also right there.
You can see Hogan, Nelson, and Snead all born within months of each other in 1912, a little over 100 years ago. Herbert Warren Wind, the great writer, Robert Trent Jones Sr., the architect. So those individuals who are contributors as well, Bing Crosby and Bob Hope right here, is fascinating lockers with a hat from one of the military tours that Hope gave, and some of his snazzy shoes.
Those are some shoes that Bob Hope is sporting right there, yeah.
You'll see future inductee lockers right here. So we have room to grow for about another 30 years or so.
As I turn around, this is now some pretty heady company here. We've got the big three with Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, that guy Lee Trevino also there. This is, everywhere you look, it's a giant of the game. It's a titan of the game. And looking at these things, with Arnold Palmer with basically it looks like mechanical, drawing tools, the Wake Forest hat, the golf balls, Jack Nicklaus with a 5-pound note. This is pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, this is when you start to get the goosebumps, when you see some of the players, especially with many of the visitors that we have here in Pinehurst. That's kind of the era that they started watching golf.
Sure.
So you have the big three, the Black Knight, Jack Nicklaus, the Golden Bear, as you said. You get to see, some.
Looking at some of the vintage, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the equipment and gear nerd in me, taking a look at some of the clubs that these players would have used in their day, and to think that there's Jack Nicklaus's 1-iron, which looks like you should be spreading something on toast using that. It's amazing stuff that you have here. What does the gold star signify?
Yeah, so the Gold Star is when we talk to, I had the chance to interview all of the living Hall of Famers. So when you come in here, there's an app where you take out your phone and you can hear directly from the Hall of Famer. So
wow.
in the case of Jack here, have him talking about some of his first experiences of playing USGA championships.
That's special.
For Gary Player, we have him talking about his British Open championships. It's great. So instead of having us write some of it on the locker wall, you can hear directly from the mouths of these champions. And I think there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 65 living champions. So to get to bring that to fans is really a nice way for them to feel like they're a part of this.
Every one of the names that's right up here is, you recognize all of them. I mean, for me, it's really great.
Absolutely right. And as we get in here, I'll show you probably one of our more popular lockers here is Jumbo Ozaki, and you can see he has a jewel ball marker, but then a samurai sword.
Yeah.
He has in there from his Japanese heritage. A really cool one, and one visually that kind of takes your breath
Stands
away.
out.
This one, no question. Greg Norman, of course, the straw hat.
Yep.
You can get into
Nancy Lopez over here.
Here's our chutney recipe. Nancy Lopez, Girl Scout. She has her sash and her hat there. Again, things that meant a lot to these players before they were golfers, when they were young and growing up. Cool. Another one, of course, being here in Pinehurst, one of the big ones.
Payne Stewart.
Of course,
for
Payne
sure.
Stewart, 1999 U.S. Open champion 25 years ago. With Payne, obviously known for the flat cap, the knickers, and of course making that 15-foot par putt to beat Phil Mickelson in that 99 Open.
Another harmonica.
Another harmonica. So
there you go.
Two harmonicas just on this tour from his time with Jake Trout and the Flounders, playing with Peter Jacobsen and Mark Lai and the team. Scorecard, we have some of Payne's knickers in the back. That'll certainly be a popular locker.
Very cool.
Then as you come around the corner, really the more modern era of players, Lorena Ochoa, Sayri Pak, Kari Webb, of course, the great Annika Sorenstam. And then we come over here to Tiger and Phil, right next to each other.
Yep.
Locker buddies.
Wow, that's a pretty strong locker from Tiger, I got to tell you. I mean, when you've got a U.S. Amateur, which he obviously won 3 of, you've got your U.S. Open trophies there, the gloves, the head cover. That's pretty strong. And with Mickelson, with all of those clubs, of course, because being a gear guy, the jet, that seems sort of appropriate. And there's going to be a spot waiting for somebody in the future between Phil Mickelson and Davis Love.
This will be a coveted locker.
That's a good spot.
This is some
It's a
pretty
good
prime
spot.
real estate.
Yeah,
yes.
it's a pretty good spot.
No doubt about it.
Cool.
So we're thrilled to be open to the public, and it's something we'll be open U.S. Open week to have people come in, and we think this will really be a great complement to everything else that they have here at Pinehurst. Now 10 courses, so you come in, you play some golf. On the way out, you stop by the USGA Experience downstairs, the World Golf Hall of Fame upstairs. It's a really nice trip.
Well, Mike sort of stole my thunder here, but if you are planning a trip to Pinehurst to play some golf, definitely carve out a little bit of time to come out here and check out the USGA Experience downstairs and the World Golf Hall of Fame upstairs.